Or are you gonna edit it?
I'm gonna edit.
Okay.
So, how long you been racing?
I started racing when I was 6. 1978 was my first time racing. And it wasn't like, Dave, get out here and go racing. It was mainly me. Mom, take me racing. Mom, when can we go? And she finally said, all right, come on then. So she took me at the end of the season in 1978 when I was 6. We went out and got that end of the year race where there's hardly any kernels left, but that's when I first went racing.
So beginning of the racing year season and the end, what's the difference with the race?
Beginning of the rice season, you get a lot of green rice. You really have to be careful when you bring that, when you pull the rice in. You have to be careful when you pull your rice through because there's still a lot of green rice on the heads, and you got to be careful not to break the stalks. Towards the end of the year, you're always going to get stalks, just because the stalks are older and there's not too much rice left on the heads themselves. And then when you pull your knocker through, everything just kind of, it's older, so it kind of breaks, and then you end up with a lot of stalks, especially when you look at they're on both sides of you. There's big long stalks in there, but that's pretty much it's just the age of the rice itself. It just gets older in a real short amount of time.
Do you get more rice during the beginning of the season than towards the last of the season?
Right in the middle is when you get the most.
Okay.
Right in the middle of when it's green and when it's really super ripe. It's always seems like you get the most then. And the farther on the rice season goes, the heavier the rice is. So your beginning of the season, you got your average bag would probably weigh about 55 to 60 pounds. Towards the end of the season, that same bag weigh 85, 90 pounds. It's just, the rice is a lot riper.
For a seasoned ricer team, how much do you usually bring in on a regular year? A day?
A day, the seasoned vets are probably on an average year break over pretty close to 400 pounds a day. Some really good days you're breaking 500, and depends on how many days you're racing like that. I think my biggest season when I was keeping track was over 7,000 pounds. I think this year was a pretty bad year. I maybe got about a ton, 2,000 pounds.
So when a racer goes out, do they usually cuff their pants, wear long sleeves? Is there any insights you'd want to give to a beginning racer?
All that depends on the racer. I've seen people knocking rice that has short sleeves. I would never be able to do that. I forgot. I wear a jacket. It's a really thin jacket. It's almost like a raincoat. I have to cover my sleeves, and I have to wear gloves, and I even put tape. I put the tape right here that's in between my sleeve and my glove because that gets all tore up from the rice from reaching. I reach my arm in, and that rice, it just tears my arms up. But I've seen people out there that race with short sleeves. Some people like to tape their. I see people wear shorts. It just all depends on the racer. Best way I think would just to try it. If you try it and it doesn't work for you, don't do it. It just the more things you try, the more things you're going to know for yourself. So I would try to wear long sleeves and gloves if you're hitting rice. Yeah, just the more things that you can try, the more things you're going to learn on your own.
So why are they cuffing their pants? Is that just to keep so they don't get all itchy?
Yeah, I guess that's supposed to keep worms from crawling up your. I don't do it myself. I don't know. I've never done it myself,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
What about eye protection? Do you?
Oh yeah, I wear glasses. I wear sunglasses, and I wear the kind of the wraparound because it does go around somehow. I don't know how it does it, but it goes around somehow. And I wear a hat with a brim to keep the sun out of my eyes. But just like everything else, people rice different. My children, and there's a lot of other people I know that cannot wear glasses.
Yeah.
For the life of them, they can't do it. And I keep trying to tell them, you put glasses on because
Keep the beards out. Rice beards
rice
out.
comes through too, because sometimes you hit and it comes off funny, and that kernel goes flying and it hits you, and that really, really hurts if it hits you in the face, especially if it hits in your eye. It's gonna hurt. So I keep trying to tell people to wear glasses, but a lot of people can't. They just can't do it. They can't see the rice for some reason.
How much are they buying green rice for?
This year, Leech Lake started buying rice for $7 a pound for green rice, just because it was a bad year. There wasn't a lot of rice around, and White Earth ended up starting to buy for $7.25, and Leech Lake ended up, I think their last week and a half, 2 weeks of rice, they were buying it for $10 a pound for green rice.
And they have a lot of distribution around the world.
Yeah, they do.
When you get, let's say you have 100 pounds of rice, of green rice, how much, when you finish it, how many pounds do you end up with? What is the return, 60%?
It depends on what part of the season you got it. If you got it at the beginning of the year, you're probably going to get, out of 100 pounds, you might get 35 to 40 pounds of finished rice. If you're getting it at the end of the year, where it's a lot more ripe, your 100 pounds, you probably get maybe 45 to 55 pounds of finished rice out of 100 pounds.
So middle of the season is somewhere in between those two.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Amigos, I appreciate
Yep. You betcha.
that knowledge.